Today in the nerdy news you need to know about, Stalker 2 launches big on Steam and is getting big fixes. Steam has made a big update to its season pass policy, and I swear to God, Mike, if the third one is another Steam story. Metaphor ReFantazio is huge for Atlus and Sega. We'll have all this and more because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Thursday, November 21st, 2024. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the master of hype, Snowbike Mike.
Good morning, Greg. I will tell you, you cleared your throat and you brought it right there.
I'm fucking ready to go. I haven't hosted Games Daily, I feel like, in quite some time, which probably just means not this week.
Yeah,
or not,
maybe
not since Monday, but probably, I don't think at all this week. I think it's been a crazy schedule of streams and
people moving.
Things.
You were playing Magic yesterday. A lot of people talked about you.
Oh, I was playing some
Magic the Gathering.
Playing it on my phone. Playing it on my phone when I got home too. Of course, Ben distracted me. I only played one thing, and then I was like, I'm gonna go downstairs. I'm gonna finish that Starfield quest I was talking about, the Veil on Gamescast. Then play some Magic. And then I finished the Veil quest, and I was like, well, why don't I? And then an hour and a half later, I was like, it's bedtime.
Of course.
I've played too much Starfield.
A lot of Starfield. That's so great. I love that you're jumping in. Your now progression of Starfield is into the user-created content, which is always exciting.
Oh, yeah.
That's so
I mean,
cool.
I've been there since the day one when they launched the creator stuff.
Amazing.
Now the creators are putting out quest lines. That's when it's like, okay, now we're getting to some real cool
I've
stuff.
always wanted to do that with Skyrim, but I've never have.
Why not?
I'm not a big download mods and try that stuff. So I'm vanilla Mike.
I
I'm playing.
can't speak to any other game, but for Starfield, and because it's this way, I would assume every other Bethesda game, the way they mod it is so fucking simple. Like, it's not like I like when I needed to mod World of Warcraft and play with a controller, even that was like I started going the hard way, and then somebody on Twitter was like, "No, you dumb fuck, just use this one thing." And it's like and they've updated all this stuff to make it easy too. I was like, "Oh," and it was very easy.
Yeah, they have a great little system over there at Bethesda with all of their games now that have that. So yeah, you can jump in, have some fun. I've always wanted to do like 1,000 Skyrim mods and blow the machine up, but yeah. Just a vanilla Mike. That's it.
Well, you play too much other stuff. What'd you play last night? You're always
last night we played ranked Call of Duty. So of course, me and Nick play a lot of Warzone ranked.
Yeah.
Now season 1 has brought in multiplayer ranked, similar to the CDL Call of Duty League that you would know about.
Okay.
And so that's 4-on-4 action, 3 game modes, ranking system just like in Warzone. So me and the boys jumped into that. Won our first game, got absolutely dominated the next 3 games. Just couldn't find a rhythm. Search and destroy. Felt good. I thought I had it. Then we played some domination. Never took the point. Just got run over 250 to 0. So it was a really bad time. Really bad time. But it's dope. I love a good ranking system. I love Call of Duty with my friends. I'm going to be addicted to it. So it's exciting.
That's good. I'm glad. Is that now we are, of course, on the precipice of the weekend? Is the weekend just ranked Call of Duty? Is it just going wild with that?
The weekend is going to be interesting for me, Greg. I don't know where I'm going to go. I'm excited, right? It's rainy out. I would like to play Demon Souls on the PlayStation Pro and see what Demon Souls is all about. So that might bring me there. I got Astrobot knocking on the door saying, Mike, when are you going to enjoy this possible game of the year?
Have you still not started?
I've not played Astrobot yet. I was going to play it on stream here, and then Roger and Blessing came to me and they're like, let's play Space Marine 2. Then they
that was the right call. You did a good job.
Yeah, it was the right call. But now I got both of these games looking at me. So one day I'll get to that. Yeah, I don't know where my weekend will take me. Maybe I go back to Stalker 2. There's something that's whispering in my ear like, Mike, don't leave me yet. And I'm like, Stalker, I'm not ready to leave you, but I'm ready to leave you.
Well, it's funny you say that because, of course, Stalker 2 is in the nerdy news you need to know about because that's what we do here on Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday, we come to you with the biggest stories in games, and you get to enjoy that. If you super enjoy it, why not super chat over on youtube.com/kindafunnygames. If you're watching live, which you could do on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames as well, you can super chat. Super chats then get read as we go. Maybe gets to be part of the show with your thoughts, opinions, and takes on the day's news. Of course, if you just like what we do here at Kinda Funny in general, please pick up a Kinda Funny membership. $10 over on patreon.com/kindafunny or youtube.com/kindafunnygames gets you each and every one of these episodes, Kinda Funny Games Dailies, ad-free. It gets you all of our content ad-free. That's more than 20 episodes of content a week. And of course, it gets you the ability to watch afternoon podcasts like the Kinda Funny podcast live as you record them, and your daily dose of me in a series we call Greg Way. It's a podcast. It's a video. It's whatever you want it to be. It's just me in the car with you.
What's the vibe today?
Today, it comes in 3 parts.
Oh, 3 parts. Okay.
The first part is me being unable to remember what I wanted to talk about on Gregway, and I
right.
give you some funnies.
Yep.
Then the middle part is me remembering what it was because I stopped. I was like, I'm gonna stop this Gregway and I'm gonna think. No music, no podcast. Of course, my brain dusted off, found it. So then it's me talking about my cousin coming to me and saying, "Hey, do I get a PlayStation 5 or do I get an Xbox? I'm gonna ask Santa for this." And I said, "Paige, you've come to the right man." And so I started asking her all these different questions.
You said, "Look at your phone. This is an Xbox."
I did that exact fucking thing, Mike. I did that exact thing. Blew her mind.
Yeah.
And then I gave them the update. I'm like, wait, actually, this update's a couple days old. So then I stopped the thing once again to text her to get the update and find out how she's enjoying what she's playing and if it's working. And
That's
it's working, everybody. We're converting one of these mainstream people to a gamer. You'll see it happen live before your eyes here on Kinda Funny, or at least Gregway today. If you're a member, go be a member. If you say, I'm too broke to be a member, I understand. YouTube.com/KindaFunnyGames podcast services around the globe each and every weekday for a brand spanking new episode. Housekeeping for you. Did you know that we have a highlights channel? Roger is working hard bringing you the best of Kinda Funny in shorter, easier to binge chunks. This entire week is reaction week. Come relive some of our favorite E3 and press conference reactions over at youtube.com/KindaFunny. Look at this. Just gorgeous.
Reliving the moments. Great job,
He's
Roger.
doing a great job. Roger's killing it.
Yep.
Look at me. Look at me all over this. I'm so good looking. I don't like that row of Tim. I like the row of Greg at
A lot
top.
of row of
Not a lot
Tims.
Tim there.
Yeah. Got to get more Greg, I'll tell him.
Thank you very much. That's what the people demand
More
to
Greg.
see on this. Of course, remember, everybody, that's not all. We're an 11-person business all about live talk shows. Today, after Kinda Funny Games, you're going to get the GAMESCAST, and it's our Avowed preview. That's right. We played Avowed. I played it. Did you play it? I forget.
No, I did not. I
Okay.
played Stalker 2 instead.
Right,
so
that was it.
I'm
You're
excited
taking one for the team.
to hear all
Tim
about
played it. Paris played
Yep.
it. We're all on there. Maybe Bless. I forget. Somebody else is on this with me.
Yeah, Blessing.
Yeah, he played it
The
then
four
too.
of you
We're gonna
will
get on
talk
there. We're
about it. I'm
talking
very
about Avowed,
excited.
see what's up. I'm very excited to talk about it as well. And then coming up later today, Mike and Nick will be heading into the beautiful, apocalyptic, and extremely muddy wilderness of Stalker 2 to face off against mutated beasts and bounty hunters. And in order to experience this game's best performance possible on PC, we're teaming up with our friends at NVIDIA GeForce. We'll be going RTX On with Kinda Funny's GeForce 40 series GPUs, which gives us super boosted performance with NVIDIA's AI-powered DLSS technology. This is the best way to enjoy the games. And yes, you, Kinda Funny viewers, get to reap the benefits. Don't miss it. Again, worth pointing out, we reviewed Stalker yesterday.
Yep.
It's in the news today.
In the
This
news
is
today.
sponsored by NVIDIA. This has nothing to do with Stalker themselves. So don't
Exactly.
worry about it.
They believe in their tech. They're really pumped up about the tech they put into the game. And me and Nick are excited to turn that on in the beast of the PC that we got in the streaming lab and get to show off all the cool stuff.
Downloaded it last night. You said I should. I was like, all right, let's go. Or the power of Xbox Game Pass. I was just able to download it and get right in there. You know, I didn't get into it. I downloaded it.
When will
Play
you want
Starfield. You know what I mean? I gotta go shoot FDR in the head. I'm sorry. I'm busy.
crazy? When will we take to the skies in Microsoft Flight Sim?
I mean,
Have you
according
thought
to
about flying with
Never.
me?
That was the thing. When Flight Sim last time came around,
Yeah.
I downloaded it. I hopped in. I flew a little bit. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm fine.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Now
It's-
they put in
it's-
fun challenges and activities.
Sure.
Instead of just flying, you actually get to do stuff within flying the world. You know what I mean?
And I'm not against that. It's just that doesn't call to me. That's never been my scene. Remember we landed though in New Jersey or whatever?
Man, how cool
That was cool. Found that guy's restaurant he
Yep.
wanted us to go to. That was pretty neat. That was a good
Can't
stream.
wait.
That was a good stream. Like I said, if you're a Kinda Funny member, you get a Greg Way today where I can't remember, then call. And then, of course, after that, you can get Gladiator in review this afternoon and tomorrow, of course, on YouTube and podcast services. But you can be live commenting if you're a member today. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Delaney Twining and Carl Jacobs. Today, we're brought to you by Sonic at Top Golf, Aura Frames, and the Visual Triangle merch. We'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin the show with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some news. 5 items on the Roper Report.
A baker's dozen.
I've been treated to a lot of great duos here at Kinda Funny.
Yes, you have.
Tim and Nick, you and Andy, you and Raj, you and Kevin,
Thank you.
you and Joey. But I like when the lights went up there and did the little swivel. I got to look out into the live audience
See this?
and just see Cool Greg eating a cup of noodles with Cole sitting
Yes.
right next to him.
He's living the good
Please
life."
give me the noodles. Number 1 on the Roper Report, Stalker 2 launches big on Steam as dev promises fixes for rough edges. This is Wesley Yinpool at IGN.com. Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl, has enjoyed a big launch on Steam, becoming one of the most played games on Valve's platform on release day. Ukrainian developer GSC Game World's post-apocalyptic horror shooter saw a peak concurrent player count of 113,587,000 on Steam. A number that was enough to place Stalker 2 in the platform's top 10 most played games list. That dwarfs the Steam peak concurrent count for all other Stalker games, including 2007 Stalker's Shadow of Chernobyl. It also has a, quote, very positive, end quote, user review rating on Steam, despite suffering from various bugs detailed in IGN's Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl review in progress. GSC Game World has told fans it plans to address these bugs with a series of patches. Quote, Stalker 2 is a massive game. We understand that in such a game, there may still be rough edges. We literally haven't released anything of this scale before. We're absolutely committed to being here, monitoring your feedback, and quickly fixing any issues that need our attention. In the first days after release, we'll be working with hot fixes, rolling them out as precisely as possible, but as frequently as we can. Then, we'll switch to larger updates that include constant improvements. Snow, Bicycle, Michael. One of the big conversation pieces yesterday on our review in progress, or review so far, was why give it to reviewers in this state, then put a day one patch out for day one players, right? And I think we went around and around. And one of the things I ended up saying there, right, is that reviews really don't matter like they used to. And maybe they never did, but the illusion, at least, of how much a review matters is kind of gone. And I think you can look at this and see that, right?
Yeah, Greg, I think you can definitely see that with Steam charting still at 109,000 people currently playing this. So, yeah, I think the numbers prove to you that people are excited about this game and want to do that. And when you talk about reviews, I think people are going to their favorite content creators. We see it in our comments of, hey, I liked Kind of Funny's review, but you should go check out X, Y, and Z. Go read what they wrote. Go watch this person's stream. We're in today's age where you're going to go to your favorite content creator. You're going to go to your favorite personality, and you're going to hear and listen to their thoughts. You're going to watch them play. I watched Bruce Green stream this for 12 hours last night on his stream. Wow. So, yeah, I think you're going to go to
sometimes
the people
you think
that
about Bruce Green and all the decisions he's made.
Man, he's my guy.
Just, you know what I mean? Like, he's like, I'll have the kid. I'll just never see it because I'll play Chernobyl for 12 hours. Bruce Green, look yourself in the mirror. You know what I mean? Look yourself in the mirror. Think about what you're doing out there. Heart of Chernobyl for 12 hours. Change a diaper for 12 hours. You sicken me. I miss you, Bruce. Back to you, Mike.
But yeah, I mean, we talked about it at its core. There is a good game inside of this. There is a game that I personally want to play. It was just really weighed down by a lot of bugs. And of course, you see with the team over here at GSC Game World that they are committed to fixing that. And of course, I would expect that. They went through a lot to get this game to the finish line. They're not going to stop with this game after day one. And so, yeah, I'm glad that they're committed to the fix. I expected them to do that. This is their largest game to date. Of course, this is a massive open world game, so there is going to be rough edges, as they've said. But it sounds like they're committed, and I knew they would be. I think the player base also knows that they're going to iron this out within the days, weeks, months after this.
I thought the other interesting thing you're talking about, part of it, was the blowback. Not to the Kind of Funny review. Where it was there, though, I guess. Yes. But in general, yesterday, the amount of people I saw saying, like, it was unfair of reviewers to review this, and you should have waited, and you should have done this. And I find that such an interesting argument, where it is that when we're given the game by a publisher, given an embargo, you want to hit that embargo. Of course. And it is then your review is going to be based on what you did. I saw, of course, Jordan Middler on VGC yesterday being very open, talking about the double-digit hours he put into it, right? And then they get this patch with 48 hours before you go to jump over there. Like, what are you going to do with that? Why would that, you know what I mean? Like, how does that work out? And it is, as always, an ongoing discussion, I think, of what video game press, enthusiast media, whatever you want to fucking call this job, how that all shakes out. But it's been fascinating to see another renewed example of, I guess, even a polarizing example of what the game we're given, what reviewers are given versus what's actually launching.
Yeah, I would kick it to you with all of your expertise and knowledge on this one, right? It would be exciting to hear. Have you been in this situation where you've seen a game, you know, maybe not play as well up through review till the embargo day, and then on day one have a massive patch where players are now saying, hey, your review is totally opposite of what we're all experiencing now, similar to what we're reading right now.
Yeah, of course, that's happened a ton of times. I'm trying to remember the last gigantic one that happened this way. You know what? There's a full stop. You know who's a dirtbag?
Oh.
Paris fucking Lily.
Okay.
in the YouTube chat, call me. And then everyone's like, give us Paris, Paris. You know how fucking Discord works.
Yeah.
You know how to Slack Barrett. Like, you know what I mean?
Call him up.
This is an open fucking Zordon door. Any point, you can walk through it. Well, Paris over there, the fucking vampire he is, needs to be invited in.
Whenever I see him just chirping in the chat, I choose to ignore it because I know he knows how to hit us up.
He needs
so I
to be
feel like
called
he's
upon.
just doing it just to do it.
He just wants to, well, that's the thing is I don't want him posturing for the people. I've had enough
Paris,
of the fucking phonies.
Come in here.
Let me give you another example of Paris Lily,
snap.
the fucking phony.
Oh, no.
We go to yesterday at 9:29 a.m.
9:29.
Can I pop on KFGD during the Xbox Cloud on your own game stuff?
Oh.
And then he says, oh, wait, wrong day, blessing Tim tomorrow. And I go, did you make contact with them? At 30 minutes later, he goes, no, got a meeting, so it won't work. So again, he's pandering to me, trying to, he probably knew that it was a Blessing Tim episode.
Okay.
He just wanted to make it, you know what I mean?
Well, call him in. Get him in.
Ladies, gentlemen, and NBs, I'm just begging you from the bottom of my heart just to read between the lines with Paris Lily and every other grifter out there.
Oh, no.
He's the positivity peddler. They got negativity peddlers. I'll put them all in the same peddler bucket.
Oh, shit. That's crazy.
Fucking being in the YouTube comments saying, invite me in.
He'll be in here in a second to set the record straight.
I don't know about that. But yeah, no, this has happened plenty of times where my personal, for me personally, my most infamous example of this, which is, I'm sure there has been far worse in my career, but the one that hit me the hardest was a little game called Hot Shots Golf Open T2.
Oh.
This was a PSP sequel on PSP to Hot Shots Open T1, which I adored. So I got this game, played this game, loved this game for what it was, but it had problems. And I called those problems out in the review. And then players were like, what are you talking about? Like, you say that you don't get the ability to record your own replays, but you clearly, I got that here, X, Y, and Z. And it was this weird thing that my review build didn't have that. So it then discredited my whole review because one of my things was like, or it took shots at my review because then it was like, I guess gave them free bullets for my review of me being like, this thing, there's a whole bunch of stuff they didn't include, including this major thing. They're like, well, they had that thing. So then what does that do to your score? And how does it, it's like, fuck, like you can only review the experience you have with a game. And so I think, again, I understand, do the reviews of this game then work for the audience? Do they actually get anything done? Like our goal of reviewing a video game, right, is to share our experience with a game and say, hey, this is what it is. So that they can make educated choices on what they want. Yeah. And so I think for the majority of the reviews I saw yesterday, I think the biggest problem here is, as always, people getting hung up on scores. I think if you read through the reviews, you listen to the conversations, you hear everybody saying, for the most part, hey, buggy as shit. You know, I think it was Chaim and maybe IGN being like, this is Chaim at IGN, this is the most buggy game I've ever reviewed. But maybe that was Jordan. Somebody said something to that, right? And it's that idea of like, once you put that out there as the reviewer and then you critique the experience of the game, I think then as a player, you can look at it and be like, well, they put out a day one patch and I'm seeing people not complain about that. So I can ignore that part of the review, enjoy this part of the criticism of what the open world feels like. It isn't an RPG, it isn't a Fallout. Go from there and make a choice on, do I want to be one of these 120,000 people who are playing it on Steam? And I feel like that works. However, the problem is that that's a very nuanced, calculated argument for people who like games criticism, where I feel like you have a whole bunch of people who just want to see numbers go up. They've said Stalker 2 is going to be the best game of all time or the best Stalker of all time. So then for the Metacritic to be fucked up by these things, that pisses them off, and that's a different conversation, blah, blah, blah. But even this argument is the same argument I was participating in at IGN, and you've seen since then with all the big sites, us included, of like, well, you review Fallout 76 at launch and shit on it. You review Fortnite and say it's basic at launch. How do you update that when a game is being updated at this level? Ladies, gentlemen, and NB, he's the best voice in the business. It's Paris Lily. Hello, Paris. I'm so happy you're here. I didn't talk any shit.
Also, Paris, you're muted.
He can't even use a microphone. Look through the lines. Read through the lines, people.
Hey, you know I had to make myself the center of attention to come on here, so I purposely do it in the chat. I heard what you said, Barrett. You goddamn right. I say it in the chat. I want the people to want me to come on. I'm not just gonna.
The people are always gonna want you to come on. Just slack me. Just slack me.
Paris is such a professional wrestler. Like, he goes out into the audience with the mustache on. And he's like, "Why do we chant for Paris?" And then they start chanting. And he runs backstage to come out. Hey, Paris, we love you. How you doing?
No, good. I just wanted to chime in on the Stalker 2 stuff because I've been playing the day one patch this morning, and it fixed a lot. It really did. I'm not seeing as much pop in anymore. I'm not seeing like the controls aren't as janky as they were previously. So it's done a lot. It's a very playable, fun experience for what Stalker is. So, I just wanted to update because I know in our conversation that was a big topic about. And you already said it. Why did they give us the game in the state that they did? Because that's how we're going to review it versus what people actually got day one was a different experience. Because, I've seen so many comments since yesterday, people going, well, I'm not having those issues. I'm not having this. I'm not having that. And then sure enough, I played it this morning and I'm like, they're right. It's a lot better than it was before this day one patch. So kudos to the team for getting it out.
Good job.
That's great.
Yeah, that's awesome news.
So now the question is should reviewers go back? You guys have been in the industry for a long time. A lot of the comments were, "Oh, well, go back." And it's like, well, in our company here, we're already fighting with 1,000 other deadlines. We're trying to do 1,000 things at once. Can we really go back and re-review it, or should we have waited for the day one patch and then done the review? Could you two have done that?
Yeah, I mean, but the problem is, when do you know a day one patch is coming? When do you know how the problems are and stuff like that? Like, how do you want to serve the audience? Again, I think to bring it to us, it's a very interesting argument, right? Because I feel the way Kind of Funny works is an ongoing conversation. Theoretically, this weekend you're going to go home and play more, right? And so if you come back on Monday and you're like, yo, this turned around, fuck yeah, we're going to take a GAMESCAST or a Games Daily and figure out the headline to put it in there and do that, right? I would never assign that to you. I think that's going to happen naturally. I think Paris already talking about that happens naturally. At some point, not this weekend because I'll be on the road, but I'm going to boot it up and see what's up and see if it connects. There's a conversation there too. We are a conversation company, right? Our scores go out when it's bananas out of knapsacks. Nobody fucking cares, right? We're not Metacritic. It's not like we're syncing anything. It's just for the conversation, a window, a billboard into it. And IGN then becomes a different conversation. But to their credit, I think this is something that people don't get enough credit for, honestly, in the day and age of the reviews in progress, where everyone wants to hit that deadline and have the score up so that they can be included in the tweet. Wario64 is putting this thing out. Noble's putting this thing out. Hey, here's what everybody gave it. Here are the scores. You want your Metacritic up. Day one of a review embargo is when the most eyes are going to be on those reviews, and the conversation is, and we're doing a review roundup, and da-da-da-da-da-da. For IGN and Hyam to be like, no, we're in a review in progress this, and we're not going to put a score on it, and we're going to wait and feel this out. And I am not familiar how much of that is I didn't rush through the game, or I'm waiting for the day one patch, or whatever it is. Like, that's a great way to handle it, but IGN's traffic on that will be down because they don't have the little thing, right? And it'll still be great traffic, it's IGN, but it won't be as big as if it would have been. We're giving this a 4 out of 10. This thing sucks. You know what I mean? Or we're ignoring all of these things and giving it an 8 out of 10. Like, you got to review your experience. And if your experience is fluid and changing, I think that's a very welcome thing. But again, in the SEO driven world, in the world you see of people vying in a market that's getting more and more competitive, tinier and tinier, ad rates are going down. You see the layoffs, you see the closures. Like, people are trying to do this. And then for an IGN, or we should stop using IGN because they're not doing it, I guess. A GameSpot, a VGC, how you tackle it going on then is a completely different ball of wax of like, okay, cool. Well, do we do an updated review? Is that worth it to our audience? We said our piece. Again, I think the criticism stands of, I had all these fucking problems, but this is what I thought of the game and the narrative or whatever. So if you can just not read through the review and go, well, that doesn't matter or count anymore, or do the follow-up article, but then you're into a million different ways of trying to solve the same thing and build a better mousetrap. Paris, we thank you for your service. Are you going to play more this weekend?
Yeah, I'm going to continue to play, and I'll probably, over the next week or so, update it even further because I do want to take it to completion, like I said. But I'm looking forward to GamesCast.
Avowed.
We're going to talk Avowed.
We're going to talk about it.
Fun combo.
Go rest. All right. You're looking like some kind of combination of RDJ and The Rock. And it's doing something for me.
These are the Call of Duty gunner glasses.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
He's so cool.
I can almost read every one of the screens in his eyes. You know what I mean? We'll see you in a second, Paris. Love you.
All right. I'll see you later.
Bye. What a piece of trash. He's a great guy. I'm glad he does that. People should be popping in. You know what I mean?
Pop in more, right?
What do you feel about it then? Before to close this door or whatever, how would you handle it?
That's a tough one, Greg. Like you said, I'm blessed to get to work at Kind of Funny, where it is a constant conversation, right? I am on streams every single day. Me and Nick are doing a stream later where I literally get to spend time looking at the updated day one patch, so I can tell you in real time how much it's changed for me. So I'm really lucky I get to have the conversations with you. I can play it over the weekend live on a stream and say, oh, wow, look how much this has changed for me. Or come back to you and say, hey, we got to have a conversation. Give me 20 minutes on a GameScast.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me share that. So I'm lucky, but yeah, you can't miss the day one, right? If I was a big site, that is all eyes on me. That's all the impressions. You unfortunately have to be there. And for the devs, I know that probably sucks. The day one patch, they've worked hard on to get that out. But for a reviewer, you give me what you give me. I got to go off of that, and I got to hit this deadline to get the most clicks on this one.
And that's the thing where I think, it's one of those, nobody's wrong. You know what I mean? And how they handled this or what they did. Obviously, it worked for Xbox and Stalker getting out here. It worked for reviewers yesterday having a conversation and moving it. But I think that's the thing we have to deal with as a community or as a interested video games enthusiast, right? Of like, no matter what, as soon as you publish a video or a written review of a game, it's going to be outdated. They're going to patch. They're going to do this thing. I can tell you how many levels are in a game when I record this thing, but guess what? There's going to be a million other things for what changed, what. Oh, I ran into this bug. Well, they're going to patch that bug out. Like, it's such a hard, slippery slope. And I think for a game like Stalker that got knocked so hard yesterday for these things, then you see this it really be bubbled up of like, well, how do you do that? It's like, well, when would you stop to review the game? Like, I mean, like, look at like Dying Light 2. Which is, I mean, Dying Light 1 got, 10 years of updates or 7 years of updates? And Dying Light 2 is still getting outright, still get emails about what Dying Light 2 is going. So it's like, should Dying Light 2 still be a review in progress?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, where do you draw the line? What do you do with it?
You also brought up, today's age where we're living is Twitch streaming all the time, right?
Yeah.
For me personally, I could see IGN give a game a 4. I could immediately go onto Twitch and see 30,000 different streamers playing it and get my own opinion from that. Game Pass allows me to jump right into this game right now. I could play that via the cloud and see if I like it or not. So there's so many avenues now where you can kind of make your own judgment calls. It is interesting that we hang on just the one review from IGN, and that's a make or break when there's so many other ways to consume it. And
again, that's one of the things that I'm not calling out IGN, I'm calling out enthusiast press in general, right? It's one of the reasons you're seeing such a contraction in layoffs and money be harder to make and find jobs there. It's because of this idea of like, and it's crazy as somebody who started in 2007 and the .coms were the new thing that were disrupting the industry and putting old media out. Like, I'm talking about magazines, putting old media out of business. How does old media like a .com now stay relevant when it is? Well, first off, who the fuck cares what the score is? Because you can get it with your Game Pass subscription. You can pop on and play it on your fucking phone right now if you want to. Or, like you're saying, throw on Twitch and find 75 people playing it with various opinions and watch all manner of it. We have a whole bunch of comments about this at the Super Chats. Of course, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames for your Super Chats. Docs the Fox Super Chats and says, I played Stalker 2 from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. last night. Had to be at work at 6:30 a.m.
Oh.
The atmosphere they have created is incredible. The day one patch fixed a lot. Looking forward to seeing you try that today then.
Good for you. Yeah, I'm really excited to jump in with Nick, especially on the big computer. But that's a long night. 9 p.m. till 3 a.m. and then going to work the next day. You're killing it. Good for you.
All that juice in the live chat says, it boggles my mind when I see people stress themselves out to get a review out day one. I don't know how you can say that boggles your mind when I just ran through what I'm talking about. Like, that's the moment to go get the clicks, the eyes to get included.
That's what you're working so hard to get
to deliver for your audience on time in a timely fashion. What's happening? You want to be part of the zeitgeist and have the thing and have the go and have the eyes.
And that's how .coms, especially smaller independent .coms, like survive, is because they're getting those click-through rates. It's opening them up to a larger audience so they can actually
100%.
Like get ads on their sites and all that stuff. Like,
it's the best way for discovery too,
about?
Right? Like, how many times have I seen Kind of Funny best friends who are like, oh man, I was so excited when reviews went up for Fallout or whatever, and I Googled around and found you guys and watched it and liked it so much that I started going back and watching old GamesCast. Like,
even with our Twitch streams, I pushed so hard of like, hey, we got to be here on this game for day one. We got to make a big push for that. So yeah, we're all trying to get in front of more eyes, being in front of the largest audience, and have that chance.
Jordan White super chats and says, I'm trying Stalker on the hardest difficulty because I am a video game masochist. It took me about an hour to get past the iconic Stalker monster in the tutorial. So excited to play more. You people are sick.
Good luck. That's crazy. Like I said, I died a lot at the beginning, and yeah, that even normal mode is tough. So good for you.
And then our final one right now in this conversation, Dean8149 says, Cyberpunk 2077 and other buggy games also had a day one patch. You can't take dev's word that it'll solve all your problems. Glad in this case it seems it has. Yes, that has, in my years, been a traditional out of every review guide you get. Hey, there are a lot of known issues in here, but there's a day one patch, and you have to ignore it. Or when it gets there, see what updated your issue, because that is like, that I have seen so many games be like, reviews, hey, there was all these things, but we're not knocking them because there's a day one patch, and then it doesn't do shit for it. You know what I mean? You can't, you have to review the experience you had. And again, the way games criticism currently works with a .com or even the YouTube videos or podcasts, it is set in stone, but then we do have the power to have Paris pop in today. You talk about it over the weekend. Me in 3 years play it and see what's up. For now, I'll tell you that our platform, that's ever changing. It's like water. It's fluid. We bend, we go, we do whatever the breeze tells us to do. Needs your breeze. We need you to blow on us. All right? We need you to go to patreon.com/kindafunny or youtube.com/kindafunnygames and pick up a Kinda Funny membership. Of course, when you go there and blow us, you get all of the shows ad-free. You get the ability to watch the afternoon podcast live as we record them like Gladiator in review. And of course, you get a daily dose of me, Greg Miller, in a series we call Greg Way. A lot of membership, a lot of benefits. Just for $10. Jiminy Christmas, that's great. All right, you're not using your benefits right now. So here's a word from our sponsor.
This episode is brought to you by Sonic the Hedgehog at Topgolf. Y'all, when you take one good thing and you take another good thing and you mash them together, that is when magic happens. Kinda Funny loves Sonic the Hedgehog. Kinda Funny loves Topgolf. So you know Kinda Funny is hyped for Sonic the Hedgehog and friends to arrive at Topgolf at supersonic speed on Friday, November 15th with the launch of the new Topgolf game, Sonic the Hedgehog, exclusively available for play at Topgolf venues across the United States. Created for players of all skill levels, which is great for me, Topgolf meets the fast-paced action of Sonic in this new in-venue game where players go head-to-head in iconic virtual Sonic environments, Green Hill Zone and Sky Sanctuary. You can play as 4 iconic characters, Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy, to hit springs, collect rings, and destroy badniks. For players making the transition from a joystick to a club for the first time, Topgolf has your back with its new club, the Sure Thing, designed to make golf less hard. Come play around with your friends and family at a Topgolf near you and try out the new Sonic the Hedgehog game. This episode's brought to you by Aura Frames. The holidays are all about connecting with loved ones, and there's no better way to do just that than with a digital picture frame from Aura. You can upload your favorite pics of the family to one frame and relive all those happy moments again. Or you could share big news, like a new addition to the family. Most people at Kinda Funny have Aura frames at their desks, and it's always so fun to walk out in the studio and see what memories they have displayed. It's a great gift for your parents or grandparents, and you can even surprise them with their gift being preset with your own pictures. And if that's not personal enough, you can even upload a video message to play on the frame as soon as they plug it in. So the first thing they hear is your voice and how much you love them. For a limited time, visit auraframes.com and get $45 off Aura's best-selling Carver Matte frames by using promo code KINDAFUNNY at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code Kinda Funny. This exclusive Black Friday Cyber Monday deal is their best of the year, so don't miss out. Terms and conditions apply.
The year is 2024. Lasers are a commonly used technology. Snakes have been replaced by small robots and nobody noticed. The government tells us we must choose between resolution, frame rate, and quality. We will not be lied to. For the first time in this long, bloody war, the full power of the visual triangle is ours. On sale now at kindafunny.com/store.
Number 2, Steam's season pass policy has been updated, warning developers must be, quote, ready to clearly communicate, end quote, DLC content. This is Ed Nightingale over at Eurogamer. Valve has updated its Steam policy on season passes, warning developers that if they're not, quote, ready to clearly communicate, end quote, about DLC content, quote, they shouldn't offer a season pass on Steam. Now, when a season pass is made available on Steam, developers must adhere to new guidelines, which include providing a complete list of DLC in the pass, a basic description of its content, and expected release date. Further, a season pass must include at least one release DLC when available for purchase. Parentheses, those season passes included in pre-purchasing a deluxe edition are exempt. Quote, By offering a season pass, you are promising future content, Valve's new guidelines read. In the process of launching a season pass, you will be asked to commit to a launch timing for each content release in the season pass. That launch timing is a commitment to both customers and Steam. If you aren't ready to clearly communicate about the content included in each DLC and when each DLC, they put it in all caps, and when each DLC will be ready for launch, you shouldn't offer a season pass on Steam. Valve does acknowledge development can go awry and release dates aren't always met. As such, it will allow developers to self-reschedule the release date once during the season pass, though the new date must be within 3 months of the original scheduled date. Further, and importantly for users, if a specific DLC in a season pass is canceled, customers will be offered a refund for the value of the unreleased DLC. Quote, under the Steam distribution agreement, you have provided a warranty to Valve that your DLC will conform in all respects to the descriptions provided to customers, including promised release dates. Even if there has not been a customer complaint, Valve may take action if you delay a DLC more than a quarter, parentheses 3 months, beyond the release window, you originally promised, end quote. Goddamn.
Hey, as a consumer, that's great. That's exciting news. Of course, on the business side, I think that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Right? They're like, hey, we're not messing around anymore. No more refunds from you not delivering on these season passes. We're not going to be the ones held accountable. Y'all got to show up and deliver.
I
like that a lot.
Yeah. I mean, no downside for consumer. I think it will be fascinating to watch how the industry wrestles with this.
Of course.
Because I do think for a small independent team, obviously difficult, but like manageable. You have your eyes on the thing. When you're a big publisher and you're putting out a bunch of different games on Steam and these kind of things are happening, how are you keeping up with all of that? How are you moving that? When you're a Ubisoft, right, who stayed away for Steam from so long, but it's finally coming there, right? They're big on season passes.
It will be exciting to see what's the first one that kind of breaks these rules.
Who fucks
and
this
how
up?
do they hold them accountable, right? What is the first one where, oh, we didn't meet that DLC that we promised you. We're going to give you refunds for the, intended price of that. Well, what's that breakdown really come out to, right? If it's a $24.99 season pass, do I get $5 back, $10? What's that breakdown to? So, this is a great setup for the future. And, when will be the first one to break that, right? Who's that first person to say, hey, you gave us the free one change of the month. Well, we need a second one. Our bad. What's the repercussions from that?
Yeah, it'll be really, really interesting to see how that goes on or whatever. But it's cool. You know what I mean? I think in a world where video games get knocked so much for their monetization, we just did a GameScast not too long on it, to see Valve, Steam, the PC platform, wrestle with this and try to figure out how to do it. I'm interested.
Yeah, the biggest platform around on the PC side of things to hold developers accountable and also set the tone, right? It would be interesting to see on the back end how many refunds they've had to deal with season passes, right?
Yep.
When we talk about Steam and their refund policy, they have a very generous refund policy for consumers. But what does it look like with season passes? How many gamers have been fed up with not getting their content delivered to them in a timely manner, being promised these insane roadmaps and it never gets delivered, and now having to battle the refund situation or never getting one in general? What does that look like on the back end with Steam? Is exciting.
It's Jesse says, is it bad for developers? Maybe more crunch to meet deadlines? Yes and no. I mean, in that very specific example you're saying, that's going to happen. Obviously, if you've already used your one freebie and now you're coming up on another, you're going to. And then maybe the DLC you put out sucks ass because it's broken or buggy or whatever. Yes, that exists, but at what point do you want to stop passing the buck? I think this isn't reading on this one. It isn't so much about trying to punish developers who are struggling as much as trying to get publishers who are selling smoke. Hey, we're promising all this stuff, or not even. It's a DLC pass and has this, and then question marks more later. You know what I mean? I think they're trying to get away from, hey, we can just promise whatever. We'll figure it out. I think they want, no, you need to have this figured out. It honestly, even though it's years and years and years later, sounds so much like what people were mad at Batman Arkham Knight for. My example I always come back to, where it's like, they promised a Batgirl DLC and a bunch of other shit. I'm in. And then people are like, that's outrageous. You can't do that. You can't take money. And so it's the same thing here of if we were promising whatever for the Kind of Funny membership and then saying, well, we promise you this, and then question marks, we'll figure it all out. Not at all. We know when you get the merch and we don't tell you what it is.
Season of Infamy was fucking cool as shit, though. Remember that Ra's al Ghul mission? Oh, baby. It was good. It was worth it.
Barrett, you hate capitalism. How's this feel?
Anything to protect consumers, especially consumers like Mike Howard, who
Yeah.
can't control
I love a good
themselves.
season pass.
I'm all for it. So
Good job, Bear. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I like also when you want to sell a season pass, you got to give the DLC with it instead of of course the pre-orders. But it is exciting of like, well, when we get to the next part of the season pass and the game's already released, that's got to have DLC already included so people get something out of this purchase
For sure.
Cool, I like that.
Number 3, quote, Atlus is one of our most successful acquisition deals to this date, end quote. Sega reports strong sales for Metaphor ReFantazio. This is Amber V at... Is it automation? Or is it, I feel like I'm missing a vowel there.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're
Either
missing
that
a
or
vowel. I'm gonna look it up.
automaton. I don't know. There's an automata. That's not how I spell audit.
Automata.
Is that really it?
No, I was making a joke to Nier Automata.
Yeah, that's not how you spell automation. I don't know what the fuck this site is. Automaton. Sega Sammy Holdings, the parent company of Sega Corporation, recently held a shareholders Q&A session regarding its earnings for the second quarter of fiscal year 2025, giving some updates on the video game sector. When asked about the performance of its 2 recent big releases, Sonic Cross Shadow Generations and Metaphor ReFantazio, the company reported that both games are performing well against sales targets, with the former expecting to see a further boost from the upcoming Sonic the Hedgehog 3 film, which hits theaters next month.
Yep.
Sega Sammy cites the high quality of both games as well as effective marketing strategies as the main contributors for the strong performance. Moreover, in a separate answer, the company goes on to call Atlus, the developer of Metaphor ReFantazio and the Persona series, one of the most successful M&A deals to date. Sega won a bid to buy the Atlus brand and its bankrupt parent company, Index Corporation, back in September 2013, eyeing its high-value IPs such as Shin Megami Tensei and Persona. Commenting on the developer's recent success, Sega Sammy said, quote, in the past, Atlus had limited resources and often narrowed down sales to specific countries, regions, and platforms. But by joining forces with Sega, they have gained the capability to expand their targets. We believe that the strong start for Metaphor ReFantazio was made possible by the high quality of the product, as well as Sega's publishing power that facilitated a simultaneous worldwide launch on multiple platforms.
Yeah. You don't say that Atlus is delivering. Yeah. That's great. I mean, what a big purchase there. I would like to talk more about, was it a gamble back in 2013 when you made this, right? When you looked at like their portfolio and what they were delivering, was it like a roll of the dice of like, we don't know if they got it? Because like, I believe Persona 4 was already out by then. So did we know they had the stuff and all they needed was that extra cash flow and boost to be able to be great like they are today?
I think the question there is, there's not enough context there. I think what you need to really take in is the struggle of Sega, right? And I'm talking about, obviously the console wars, losing that. But then Sega was adrift for so long, putting out shitty movie tie-ins for Iron Man, not great Sonic games. And I know there are some great Sonic games, but I'm not the guy who can fucking do this. You know what I mean? I can't fucking cipher through all the Sonics. But it was that thing where I think Sega was layoffs in around, and like I'm not at all the Sega historian to that. I'm not sure when they bought this, where they were. I think that was the gamble more of, becoming Sega Atlus, is that like really, is that going to move the needle? And yeah, we had seen obviously the success of Persona. I'd reviewed them at IGN. We knew it was big in Japan. It was gaining steam here, but again, it was a PlayStation exclusive franchise. To their point, right? And to them talking about like their targets, right? Where it was, hey, we're targeting where. I forget what the gap was of Persona 4 being released in Japan and then getting to America. Like you were having these things where when you were breaking it up that way, I really do feel like you lose the zeitgeist. You lose that big impact. You lose the ability to say, hey, we have sold X million units, because suddenly it's like, well, we sold this many over there and we assume in America we will. But if we just put out the Japan numbers, that doesn't sound interesting. And then you get to the point where we put them all together for the worldwide numbers later on. That's also feels like old game is old at that point. Barrett, Courtney?
Just to give you some historical context, for Persona 4 Golden on the Vita, which came out in 2012, so before this purchase, it had taken from June to November from it to come out from Japan to North America. And then even post Sega purchase, Persona 5, I remember, I think that launched in November 2016 in Japan, and then everywhere else, like, April 2017. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think, this is one of those rare occasions where you do, honestly, I think pat Sega on the back for this.
Yeah.
Of coming in when Atlus was bankrupt and this could have gone any way, doing this and then clearly feeding them the resources and being like, do what you fucking do, right? We talk about Xbox and they're buying everybody and they're doing this thing. Sega was like, do what you do. Make these weird turn-based RPG games. You know what I mean? Like, there's an audience and we think it's only going to get bigger, especially when suddenly it's going to be on PlayStation and PC and Steam worldwide day one. Like, yeah.
Yeah, like how you flip that, of how that benefited Sega at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Of supporting this team and coming in when they needed them the most, but at the same time, how big of a deal that was for Sega to get that boost that they needed to get back into the relevance and help them out. So that's big time right there. Didn't think of it like that.
That's why I'm here.
They are delivering, right? You got Persona 5 after that acquisition. You look at, of course, Metaphor and how big that is right now. That's a big deal. So, yeah, good for them.
There was another Shin Megami Tensei out there, too. What's the other one I'm thinking of from like last year's SGF?
You know what I'm talking about? MT5, or are you talking about Soul Hackers?
Soul Hackers. That's the one I'm thinking of.
They also had one of
Soul
my
Hackers.
favorite back in 2013, Dragon's Crown.
Oh, come on. Vanillaware. Yeah. I was always a
that game,
Grim War
Greg.
guy, but like I respected Dragon.
Love that game.
Well, I know another game you love.
Yeah,
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
I do.
And Mike, I got good news, bad news on number 4. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth won't have DLC, so the team can get to part 3 as soon as possible. This is Lloyd Coombs over at the Daily Star. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth stands as one of the biggest titles of 2024 and is nominated for multiple Golden Joystick Awards and Game of the Year, among other awards, at this year's Game Awards. That's a lot of Game Awards conversation in there, you know what I mean? Game Awards is being used a lot.
Yeah.
The second chapter of the ambitious remake trilogy. Yeah, okay. Fans, let's see. So again, the
writer in you?
The journalism school beating me in the head. You'd get dinged on this.
Uh-oh.
Because the second chapter of the ambitious remake trilogy, should then be Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Because you're giving so to say the second chapter of the ambitious remake trilogy, fans have been cured. No, that doesn't work. Because then you're saying the fans are the second chapter of it.
Okay.
Jen Moeller, Mizzou would be all over me on this one. The red pen would be out. I can't do it. Fans have been curious as to whether they can expect any DLC in the same way. The team at Square Enix added a new chapter dedicated to Yuffie when it brought the first part to PS5. As part of a wide-ranging conversation with the game's director, Naoki Hamaguchi, we asked if fans can expect anything similar with Rebirth, and were told not to expect any expansions, but for a good reason. Quote, we definitely do hear the desire from fans, the voices out there that want that kind of thing. I understand it completely, but I think from my perspective, what the fans really want to see the most is not necessarily DLC. They want to see the third part of the series as quickly as possible. So that's why we've decided not to focus the development resources on creating additional extra episodes for DLC at the moment. We really are putting all our efforts into getting the third game out as quickly as we can. So for the moment, that's where we're focusing our time.
I like that, Greg. So a couple of thoughts here. Of course, games are getting bigger and they take longer to make. So, of course, now adding time into making a DLC would add on time to number 3. I think a lot of the fans are probably ready for number 3 to come out. I'm sure there's a lot of fans that would love DLC. I am a newbie to the Final Fantasy world. I've been enjoying my time with it. I did really enjoy the Yuffie DLC. I thought that was fun, but I also didn't have to wait in between 1 and 2, right? I kind of jumped on 2 when it launched, so I had all of that ready to go.
And I would throw into, I'm not privy to the numbers, and I know it came with the PS5 release, so it's a bit different, but like how many people played the Yuffie DLC?
Yeah, and how much is that? What's those sales compared to just focusing on making a mainline game? But yeah, for me, I am ready for 3. I would like them to focus on that and just get right to it. How long does that take? Of course, I'm sure it will be years. But yeah, is that a smart business move? That's what it really comes down to.
100%. You can go to the Greg ways, where I did one about single player DLC, where somebody was like, hey, with the success of one of the more Cyberpunk, and then they threw something else in there that's Shadow of the Erd Tree. Do you think you're going to see a revival of single player DLC? And I was like, absolutely not, because most people are not putting in big things like that, and they'd rather move out of the other game. The Spider-Man City That Never Sleeps. PlayStation and Insomniac saw the return on that. We're like, that's bad. Spider-Man Miles Morales, that's great. So if we're going to do, rather than do a DLC, do an 8-hour little campaign game that you could do whatever with, I think, for that very specific example. And I think you see that reflected everywhere else. And I'd imagine here, they look at how many people played Yuffie, how many people got to the end credits, did all this stuff. It's like, did this matter? Was this worth it? Like, granted, it's like trying to get people to come back to the game for a different reason as well.
Of course.
But I think, if you look here and you're like, all right, cool, this will take it from being 4 years till the third installment to
6,
2.5.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
okay, yeah, DLC.
I'm going off of the first deal. The first game coming out in 2020. It took us 4 years to get here for the second game. Third game with DLC, 4 years. Maybe contract that. Maybe stick to 4. I think they're going to make way more money off a $70 box game than whatever DLC they put out. And then Valve's going to be knocking on the door about the season pass stuff. Barrett, Courtney, to you.
I think a lot of the legwork for the last 2/3 of this game was probably put into Rebirth, just because now we're getting into the full open world segment. So, yeah, I could see that being like a 3-year turnaround.
And then over here, Danny says that Yuffie DLC was PS5 exclusive, so maybe it was part of an exclusivity deal. It definitely was, which is another thing as we see those deals start to fall away.
Of course.
And they still exist, clearly, obviously. But I'm saying, as that stuff becomes a little bit rarer.
I'm excited for Part 3 to come out, and like the day of them finally being able to we can put these on Xbox now.
Imagine. Be wild. That will be another exciting time when we talk about when that finally happens and goes through. But I'm there with you, Greg. How many single player DLCs really bring me back? How much do I want to buy? I think Final Fantasy is one of the few series that have the juice to justify a single player DLC with how much their characters mean to people, that you probably could get some juice out of that. But I do agree with you. I think the $70 mega title is going to sell way more than, of course, DLC. So we'll see. But it's the right move for me. I think let's get right to 3.
Okay. Well, Final Fantasy Remake 3 will be big news. But frankly, Mike, I don't need any more big news for my final day in the office. I need some small news. Where would I go for the tiniest news I need to know about?
Greg, I would take you to the Wii News channel, where we cover all the small news items you need to know about.
Number 5, the Wii News. I Am Your Beast support group update features new cutscenes and levels, and it comes out this Friday, November 22nd. That's good.
That's big
exciting.
For me. Yeah. I haven't played it yet.
Oh, really?
So this is one that Roger.
I'm garbage at it, but I liked it.
Yeah, I played it only during the Steam Next Fest demo, so I played about 2 little mini levels. This is going to be for me. That's it. That's great.
Tales of Kinzera Zhao received a new update, adding three new Spirit Trials to each of the game's locations and more.
Nice.
Congratulations there. From game developer, Hyper Light Breaker developer Heart Machine has laid off a quote-unquote portion of its workforce. The studio confirmed the news in a statement sent to game developer and said it will be providing all impacted employees with severance and several months of healthcare.
Too bad to hear.
Yeah, it sucks.
Okay.
From IGN, Fortnite just raised its Battle Pass price for the first time ever. Fortnite has long offered its standard Battle Pass for 950 V-Bucks, but starting November 1st, the price will increase by 50, bringing its total ask to 1,000 V-Bucks.
Is that just a cool $10 then?
I forget if it's cool, but it's right around 10, right? Yeah.
I'm going to look up V-Bucks pricing right now because I believe...
He's on it, everybody. While you do that, I'll do this. Eduardo, I see this every day when it finally happens. Eduardo, why did they change the music? We did this a while back and made a big deal about it, but not everybody listens to everything, which is fine. We understand. But as you may remember, Nintendo put out their little video or their little music app, which means Nintendo's getting kind of serious about their music, right? So it's probably in our best interest not to fucking be using Nintendo music.
It was the first time since the Wii, pretty much, that the Wii channel music has been available in an official way from Nintendo. So we decided before they could...
Before Mr. Nintendo make Mr. Buckets us.
Yes, exactly.
Which will still be a huge problem when it happens. When they're like, hey, we're going to rip out
trying to avoid
374 episodes. All right, whatever.
Especially now that we live stream on YouTube.
1,000 V-Bucks is $8.99 on the Epic Games Store.
A steal.
So $9. Yeah, I'm interested on the why 50 V-Bucks right there. You know what I mean? What was the increase? What was the thought process there? Was it Greg has bought so many season passes, he's collected up the little 50 V-Bucks so many times he's getting over on us? I doubt it. So I
think it's probably just we want to make more money off of this.
Clean.
Probably.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We're probably making less money than we were last quarter, or year over year, because of a million different reasons we think. So this is an incremental change where literally, I personally think that when I buy a season pass in Fortnite, it's worth it. I think there's a lot of great shit that they do. So if I was playing Marvel right now, and I think I already bought the pass, but whatever, I would buy it. And then you look at it and go, 50 more, who cares?
You can go get your shoes now.
I know.
You get those shoes yet? You got to get those shoes.
No, I haven't got no shoes.
Tim's going to be all over the Fortnite shoes, he tells me.
No, Tim's not
He's
going to ever
excited
come back to
about
Fortnite. He's never coming back to Fortnite. Star Wars Outlaws is now out on Steam and is currently $52.49.
Isn't that crazy?
That's on Steam?
Ubisoft, here's the phone. Call up Steam and just release all of the games on Steam. Day one. Stop missing it. What are we doing?
100% agree. 100% with that one. I've appreciated, like, you know, people who are always like, oh man, you were too hard in Star Wars Outlaws. And then the devs are like, here are the 3 core pillars of the game we're changing.
That was crazy.
We're changing
crazy.
We're changing 3 core things in the game, but like, no, the reviews were wrong.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate that, like, a lot of people told us we were wrong when the review embargo was up and people hadn't played it yet.
Yeah.
And then slowly over the course of like a month, people trickling in being like, nah, you guys were kind of right.
I usually am. You know, me and Barrett have never been wrong.
Get to
My
the
finger
biggest
is
news
always
story.
on the pulse when it comes to Star Wars opinions.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic is coming to Nintendo Switch on December 5th.
Amazing.
You're excited about that?
Oh,
I know how much you love these things.
I love that. I love Roller Coaster Tycoon. I've been playing it on Steam. To have it on Switch, that's great. You know, that I love these games. I've been playing a lot of Planet Coaster too. Did you see me and Nick?
I did.
Oh man, what a great time. We had a great time.
Real quick too, in the Twitch chat, Monochrome89 says, do they have to be this obnoxious about it, the Star Wars thing?
Oh.
Sorry. Maybe you didn't see the people screaming at us for a month about our Star Wars opinion. Now when it's time that we were right and there's no, you can all eat shit. All right? You can eat this shit and enjoy it for a change rather than trying to make me do it.
I was responding to them. We could be more obnoxious about it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? We'll make a whole fucking segment of Bear and Greg were right about. We're never wrong. Tim, that's a shirt. Go make it. Barrett and Greg are never wrong. That's a shirt. Final Wii news is Nico DeRico. The Magical World for PC launches December 6th.
Tim got me hyped up on this game.
Oh,
Crash
yeah.
Bandicoot looking game.
Yeah.
And now it's coming to Steam. Your boy will definitely be playing
Please
that on
welcome
PC.
to the set,
I'll
everybody.
be on
Forbes 30
that.
under 30, a.k.a. the second best baby blues in San Francisco, a.k.a. the married one, Tim Geddes.
If you say Nico DeRico, I have to appear.
Say the name.
This coming to Steam. Steam Deck, oh my God. Perfect game for Steam Deck, especially
Okay.
with OLED. A lot of colors going on.
I don't have it.
You don't have Steam Deck OLED?
Yeah. Andy
Is that-
said he'll buy it for me for the holidays.
Did
so I'll
Andy
get
say
one.
that?
Andy said he'd
That's
give me
a
his.
waste of
Oh,
money.
that's crazy. That's great.
Interesting.
What's
Okay.
the last time where is your Steam
I
Deck
don't know
right
where
now?
my Steam Deck is.
Okay,
It
well,
could be anywhere.
You have PCs left
Yeah,
and right.
yeah, I
You
got
can be playing
PCs.
Nico
I'm
DeRico
good.
wherever you want. It's a fantastic game. Everyone should check it out. Wanted to pop in real quick to give a major shout out to our boy Ben Starr.
I know him.
Who is
God.
currently hosting the
There he
Joystick
is.
Awards.
Wow, it looks great.
And
Golden Joystick Awards.
My Lord, he looked. Yeah, thank you. He's first off doing an amazing job. Great hosting, great jokes,
Deep
great
D.
charisma, all of the stuff, right? But look at his outfit. Okay, can we just everyone for a second appreciate how incredible he looks? And I don't know if you know, and I don't know if you know. In fact, I know both of you don't know.
Yeah, he knows.
This is a Squall-inspired look. The main character from Final Fantasy VIII, Ben Starr's favorite Final Fantasy.
I love that.
Appreciate the hell out of it. If you look at the necklace, all right, zoom in, enhance. Okay,
It looks like a vial of blood, like Angelina Jolie.
Oh, snap.
Leonhardt, baby. It's Squall's necklace, okay? Me and my best friend Curran, when I was in 7th grade, I got the Titus necklace. Curran got the Squall necklace. We were the coolest kids to each other.
They were
in
the coolest
school,
kids
okay?
to
Well,
each
look,
other.
now here's Ben, making it look way better than either of us ever did. But
Yeah,
shout out to
yeah.
Ben for always killing it. We love you, dude.
We love you, Ben Starr.
Goodbye.
Yeah, that's great.
Let me get you a few super chats before we get out of here, all right? Mara wrote in and said on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames for super chat and said, gotta give a couple bucks to shout out Barrett's awesome Dan hoodie. Happy Thursday, Dan, everybody.
I wear it every Thursday for Don to Don Thursday.
A good show.
Okay, Zeke Speak says, Mike, I'm currently playing a 3,000 mod list version of Skyrim. Trust me, this is the way. And surprisingly easy to do.
Good for you. That's good. Yeah, that's like the dream, but I'll never get there. But like, good for you.
Have some fun.
That's crazy.
Sky is a member for 10 months and says, really digging the Sims mug, Mike.
Oh, thank you so much. Got this at the EA campus.
Oh, nice.
Mhm.
I like that campus.
Man, you put me on the Madden field. You better watch
I know, I
out.
blow out an
Go
ACL.
crazy.
Dave Flores says, Greg, check out, hold on, I clicked on it, now I got a thing I can't get away from. Check out McLaren's Outfitters from King Gath in the Creations. He has a trailer on his channel. Barrett, would it be possible to find that while I continue to go on?
Okay.
What am I looking for?
Uh,
A lot of words. Were
yeah, I
said.
thought maybe you saw the super chat. Sorry, I can, hold on, I'm gonna do it. Dun, 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 dun,
I don't really look at
dun,
super
dun, dun.
chats.
That's fine, you're fine. Boo-doo-doo, Here we go. I'm going to pop it in. What? That's not a trailer. That's a live stream of whatever the fuck this thing is. Oh, it's just customization stuff. Unless I'm, you know what I mean? Hold on. Here we go. So I'm going to toss this into assets for Barrett. I'm going to read a couple super chats while he finds it. The Hip Albatross, of course, Ted House himself. Super chat and says, last night I tried Cloud on PlayStation Portal. After never having a perfect remote play experience, probably due to Wi-Fi stability, I played Kena Bridge of Spirits at a full 1080p in a handheld. It's amazing. I told you. So, okay, yeah, so it looks like this is, it's outfit stuff. Okay, cool. Oh, that is actually cool. That actually does look really cool. Right now, of course, I'm rocking. Okay, let me see the stats on this guy. Okay. See, I have been knee deep in the mods for Starfield since they announced it and launched it, right? Love it. My thing is I want quests more than I want outfits.
Yes.
Because I'm happy with my outfit. I still use I use the Bethesda-made Starborn outfit, and then what I did is, of course, modders made it so I could remove the helmet. Okay. So now I got Becky running around, no helmet, blue hair out. I'm like, this is fucking dope as shit. And then I gave my other one over to Andreja. You know what I mean? That way we match when we go out and do stuff. Dope. And then our final super chat comes from Garrett. Greg, Mike. Why is it doing this? Well, I don't want to click on anything. Go away. Do collabs get you hyped to get back into a game? Do they make you want to try new IPs if they're new to you? What have been some of your favorite in recent years? Love the work y'all do. Do you care about when there's 2 game collabs?
Yeah, I like a good collab. I think it's exciting. I think it gives a little bit of juice on the marketing side to maybe get me back to jump into a game. I think of when the WWE superstar Xavier Woods came into Gears of War.
It's a new day. Right? Yes, it is.
I think I got to play that. Terminator was in that. I love a good one just because of the hype and the fun. Does it get me to jump into that game? Rarely. But if it's good enough, it will at least put that franchise on the map that maybe I don't know about. I'm trying to think of some good ones, but it will come to me eventually.
I can think of the best one. Yeah. And that's why I always have a problem with crossovers now, because no one will be able to top ever Assassin's Creed and Final Fantasy. Remember when Final Fantasy 15 and Assassin's Creed Origins crossed over? Fucking insane.
That's crazy.
Absolutely absurd.
For me, it'll always be top it. How much I adore Peace Walker, and then inside they had the Monster Hunter collab, where you're going out and hunt, a snake hunting the monsters, or whatever. That's cool. Or a big ball, you know what I mean? Yeah. But in general, like, no, I don't feel like that happens a lot where it's like a crossover where I'm like, like Destiny, when they got the Ghostbuster stuff, made me go buy it, but I didn't play a lot of Destiny afterwards. Yeah, in fact, I played 0.
I'm lucky because I play a lot of Call of Duty.
Matthew says WWE got Call of Duty. Greg, you played Call of Duty, but again, I left right away.
Yeah, I play a lot of Call of Duty, so like I get those fun moments of like, oh man, I'm getting chased around the map by Michael Myers, or Rhea Ripley just ripped me, you know what I mean? So like I get cool moments like that, but I don't get enough where it's like game collab with game collab where now I want to go play the other game. It's more like, oh, we teamed up with some out of video game world and now you love it again type stuff.
Okay.
Think about it. That's a good question.
Of course, we asked people watching live to go to kindafunny.com/you're-wrong and tell us what we screwed up as we screwed it up, and nothing. We're perfect.
Nice.
Of course, everybody, this has been Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday, we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about. If you like that, of course, be part of the show with YouTube Super Chats live as we do it on youtube.com/kindafunnygames and twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. If you're watching later, of course, youtube.com/kindafunnygames. Listening later, podcast services around the globe. No matter where you get the show, thank you. If you enjoy what this 11-person company is able to pump out each and every weekday, we'd love it if you went to youtube.com/kindafunnygames or patreon.com/kindafunny and supported us with the Kinda Funny membership. You, of course, we get good karma for supporting a small business, but you'd also get all of our shows, all 20 a week, ad-free, the ability to watch live as we record stuff like Gladiator and Review this afternoon, and, of course, a daily dose of me, Greg Miller, and Greg Way. However, the shows never stop here. They're live. We're rolling right into the GamesCast to preview Avowed. So until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.